All right, we are live. I'm psyched to be here. Psyched to have people joining us. So I am, by way of intros, I'm Zach. I'm Warp's founder and CEO. And today I'm being joined by Andrew. Andrew, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Andrew. I'm DevRel at LinearB, the AI productivity platform for engineering leaders, and also the host of Dev Interrupted, where every week we sit down with engineering leaders building and solving at scale right now in AI. And we actually recently sat down with Zach and had a really great conversation with him. So I'm excited to keep the conversation going and join today on the live stream about work.
Cool. So for folks who haven't been to one of these live streams before, what we're going to do is I'm going to build something. I'm going to build it using Warp. I'm going to build it by prompt. I'm not going to be building it from scratch. So this will be a little bit different today. I'm actually going to be picking up a project that Andrew has started building. And he built the initial version of it using Warp. I'm going to take it over. I'm going to be honest, I know almost nothing about how it works. And I think it's going to be interesting to show today how I or really more about how people who are watching might want to use a tool like Warp to sort of like learn new code and to be able to get up to speed on something that they haven't worked on before, and to then be able to use an agent to build on top of it, because I think that's a common real world use case. It's much more common actually for me to come into something that already exists than to start from scratch. It's common for me to come in without knowing what it's doing. So that's what we're gonna do today. While I get set up here, Andrew, do you want to sort of describe the actual project?
Yeah, of course. That's great setup for kind of what we're doing today. So this is something that I created in Warp. It is a quiz game that runs on PartyKit. So it's a web app server game. People connect and they play a quiz game together. I built this for an internal enablement session that I run at LinearB, talking about AI enablement. So this is something that I created through a conversation solely with Warp in an afternoon, using the tools available and some markdown files to kind of guide it. So that's like a high level view. It's actually something that is live and deployed and it works. And we actually just used it in our internal enablement session today. And like I said, I built it in an afternoon. So it was something fun to hack on together.
Cool. And can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. So I want you to kind of guide me, pretend that we're pairing on this.
Yeah.
What should I do? I have this repo checked out. It's up to date. Should I take a little tour of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some markdown files in here that are going to guide you and your agent. Starting with a spec.md that I created the whole plan with. After we got the initial plan and some code going, that got turned into a warp.md, which is also part of the repo. But lastly, a fun thing I used Warp to extract for you is I created a zach.md.
Okay.
And I asked my agent, hey, I'm pair programming this with my friend Zach, and I need to make sure that not only he, but also his agent understand what you've done. So we created that document for you, and that's in there. And using those, your agent should be able to get up to speed pretty quickly about the architecture choices that I made. Just some background too is before I was in DevRel, I was a front-end developer. So I've stood up a lot of web servers. I've deployed a lot of web apps, and it's a world I've lived in before. So I guided it pretty strongly up front with what to use, which is what gives you the framework here.
Cool. So I'm doing a couple things here to get up to speed. So in one session here, I asked the agent to explain the structure of the repo to me. On the other, I just pulled up our file editor, and I'm just going to take a look at what is written here. Did you write this spec.md or did the agent write it out of curiosity?
Let's see. We wrote it together after a conversation.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you have a warp MD also? Yeah, you do.
I think so. Yeah.
So you have the warp MD. The agent probably wrote this. So this is the quick, how do you navigate and do things in this? Okay. So we have let's just run this thing.
Yeah.
What's the so is it just npm? It seems like it's just npm run dev.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and take this in.
The npm run dev is going to kick them both up online for you to test on localhost here. It'll give you
All right, so
link.
let's go ahead and look at what we have. So I have this AI vocab quiz, and it takes me in here. I join the game. Can you explain to me like what the game mechanics of this are supposed to be?
Yeah, so the game mechanics are everyone drops into a lobby here. This is my actual server is deployed on Cloudflare. Everyone connects to the same server there. And then after you type in your name, people can do emoji reacts because this is like a live screen. So if like you open this localhost tab, another one of it on your computer.
A second
and you
one,
and you have yeah, exactly. They're reactive to each other. So log into this one with a different username and then kind of have them side by side of the windows.
Okay, so and then do you want to actually like, is this deployed? Can we have people in the audience
I
actually
have the
play with it?
link. Yeah, I can get that shared.
So I have this. So these are my two right now. And if I do something over here, oh wow. So you really
so we got like live reacts. This is built in PartyKit, right? So we have both sessions are live with each other and can send information. That just makes it a little more interactive. And then in this world, if you're logged in as me, so if your username is like AZ, then you are the host and you'd be able to start. So right now it's in waiting mode, right? I use this for an internal session. This is a personalized software that I created for the purpose of using it for that internal session, right? So that's my host control, is logging in as AZ.
What's the actual URL if I want to go to the public one?
Yeah, I just tried to drop it in the chat. I send it over to Olivia. So Olivia should be able to circulate it to us and you should be able to get it. It's also in the repo, in the README actually. So
grab that for a second.
I have that live URL here.
What's the live URL for the app? Just grab it this way. It's probably an easy one. So is it this first one?
It's that first one. So it's deployed on Cloudflare pages. Okay. So that's the live version. I'm actually there too. So let me log in. I see us both there. Okay, great. So I can drop some emojis on your screen. This is us both playing on that deployed server, right? So this is what I just used. Okay. So I have the start game button. So I'm going to hit start.
Oh, wow.
And it drops us into the quiz, right? And so it asks you the questions. These are Linear B internal enablement questions around our AI framework that we were quizzing on. So folks have 10 seconds to answer each question. And then there's a leaderboard that's maintained as we go along. And the winner gets this like trophy, CSS explosion that the agent totally wrote. That was actually turned out pretty rad in my opinion. And so that's the quiz. There's 10 questions at least, and that's what I built.
Okay. Oh, I got it correct.
Nice work.
Nice. I don't know these things. I'm just guessing at that. Okay, cool. So now that we have this, hopefully people get what this is. It's like a collaborative quiz game. What do you want me to do to make it cooler?
So one thing that I thought about in that lobby screen, which is what I think is kind of the most fun part right before the quiz begins, if I hit the reset and send us back there, and then just log back into the lobby. I think that this lobby is a ton of fun, and that we could make it a little cooler. Like right now, you have people with just like their letter representing their avatar. So we have these people here connected. Maybe it'd be cool if we could like create icons for them, maybe a unique icon based upon like a timestamp or something. I'm thinking like the GitHub identicons, when people connect to a GitHub repo and they don't have an avatar, they have like that generated image. So that's like one idea I thought of. Maybe Warp could extend that. That's an immediate one that comes to mind.
Okay, so something instead of this Z and this A, we want to build like some cool avatar thing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay, and I notice you already, let me close this over here. You already added some ideas for this in Warp Drive as a notebook. Is that right? Is that what I'm looking at here?
Yeah. So that idea I just kind of pitched to you. I pitched it to Warp first, actually. And I said, hey, if someone was going to add a little custom avatar creator to this, how would you recommend they do it? And that is what I pasted here for you. It's kind of like a cheat sheet for you and your agent to maybe try to build it with the files that are already here.
So let's try and do that. Let me also, I realized I didn't really give much of a warp overview for people who might not be familiar with it. So let me just super quickly do that. So this is warp. If there's anyone here who hasn't tried warp, please try it. It grew out of a terminal. It looks like a terminal, but the really distinct thing about it is instead of you can write terminal commands in it and run, you can run terminal commands, but you can also in this exact same input just launch agents. You've already seen me do it a couple times just by typing in English or by speaking in English. And so I'm going to do this task mostly by speaking. So let's try and add this avatar generator. I'm going to start the agent on it, but first I'm going to say, can you make me a new branch? I want to start working on the player avatar generator that is described in Warp Drive. So I just hold down function key, I dictate to Warp. This is how I often work, just faster than typing prompts. I hit enter, and off we go. It's pretty wild.
I like that you can just reference the thing in the Warp Drive.
Yeah,
that's where we'll go look. That's nice.
Yeah, so that's a cool kind of unique feature to Warp, where you have this space where you can put documents like this. You can put saved terminal commands. It's very valuable if you're working on a team. It's also where you can put your MCP servers and your global rules. We also have local, project specific rules. Mm-hmm. Let's go back here. So it's read the plan. So you've done a bunch of the hard work for me. And by the way, so the way that I like to work agentically, I do like to start with some sort of period of exploration and planning before I sent the agent off working. So I'm going to ask it. We have a formal planning feature in Warp that I don't often use. I'm going to ask it though, just to explain to me more what it plans on doing in terms of the code changes it wants to make, so that I can maybe understand them a little better and how they might fit in to the whole code base, because I don't really understand this code base.
Yeah.
Can you give a preview of the coding changes that you want to make without making them? I want to understand what files you plan on modifying, where those files sit in the current code base, and give me a better architectural overview, maybe with a little diagram around how all the pieces of this code base fit together. So here what's cool is I'm using the agent like it's a smart collaborator who knows this code base. Andrew, you could probably give me an overview also, you built it, but
well, my agent built it. But
yeah,
I can maybe give you a slightly more cohesive overview.
I'm going to close that for now, and I'm going to let the agent.
Do you like that I chose Svelte for the front end, just to mix it up, not to do another React app on you?
Cool. So let's look at it. So there's a backend server party kit, which does this real-time multiplayer logic. So it's you see everyone's cursor moving around, that type of thing.
Yeah.
The front end is Svelte. By the way, I've never built anything in Svelte in my life. I don't know anything about it. I might go ahead and open here. Can you explain to me the basics of Svelte, since I'm working on a Svelte project? This is the crazy world that we live in.
That's a smart idea.
And then, so one cool thing I'm doing here just is the way you can use multiple agents in Warp is it's very simple. It's every pane or tab has its own agent container. So let me just understand this for a second. So Svelte is component-based framework, compiles your code at build time to vanilla JavaScript. Okay, cool. 3 sections. Apologies if people know Svelte better than I know it. Not at all. And so it has a built-in sort of way of doing a shorthand for something that's reactive. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Why'd you pick Svelte, out of curiosity?
It's simple. I didn't really want a big proliferation of examples. In the past, when I've done some vibe coding on React projects, it likes to grab lots of very verbose examples and paste them together into like a big thing. Svelte balances the other direction and tries to be very simple. So I thought maybe by using Svelte, it would constrain the AI to create something more simple.
Okay. So I'm not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be that fun for everyone to watch me learn Svelte, but it's just what I am trying to show here is how I would. I think it's really important, even if you're kind of vibe coding, and we're vibe coding here a little bit, to try to understand what's going on. This is also super useful to me. So an architecture flow diagram. So we have a Svelte front end connecting to the party kit back end. That basically makes sense to me. There's a lobby screen, a leaderboard, and an app. Okay. So, and then it's telling me what it's planning to do. So it's going to make a new file for avatars, which is cool. It's going to modify. Yeah, this all sounds reasonable. I'm going to go ahead and start it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So it's going to take the way it's going to do this to give you a custom avatar. Again, I think this is pretty cool to see. So it's going to take the name, which we know or should basically be unique. It's going to hash it, and then it's going to create an object from it that has a bunch of properties for the avatar. And let's try it. Please go ahead and start building this for me. Build it in small chunks. Let's just build let me look here. Let's build the avatar generation. Avatar generation first, and try to build a little test harness where I can put in individual usernames on a separate page and just see what avatar it generates. So I can play with that without having to run the full app. Does that make sense, Andrew, what I'm doing here?
Oh yeah, for sure. In fact, I think that's the smartest way to do it. Then you can create your own little studio for seeing what it can even cook up.
Yeah, so we can again, this is something I recommend as a way of working with agents, is to start with it's just to do it in small chunks so you can see what's going on, verify that one part of it is right, and then integrate what you're doing into the full app, this is the same way that I would build it if I was building it by hand. So we're going to let this go for a second. It's going to make some diffs. As it does this, I'll show some cool stuff that we recently added to Warp to make working with these diffs easier. So here's the component. I just want to look at this, understand it for a second. If I wanted to edit it, I could.
Let's see. It looks like it's using the name as the seed.
Yep. So this is pretty cool.
Fix a color. It looks like it's using, is it doing CSS to ultimately achieve the color and the pattern?
I think so.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
So let's try this. And sort of while it's going, so this is the new way that I like to work in Warp. So I will pop open a log of all of the changes that it's made.
Okay.
And this is very helpful for me. If I want to, I could either go in here and edit it if I wanted to. I think I'm not going to have much need to edit it, to be honest, on this. Or I could ask the agent to make a change for me by basically adding this diff as context to the conversation and iterating with the agent on it. So let's see how we're doing here. It's making the test harness page. Every time I do one of these live streams, by the way, like the product has gotten much better. The models have gotten better. And it's like, I remember, I don't know if you watched any of my previous ones, Andrew, but when I first started doing this, it was like, who knew what was going to happen?
And now it's like so on rails. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I don't want to pretend that it's perfect. It's certainly not perfect. And I think as you get into like more and more complex code bases or things that aren't like have more bespoke context, it gets worse.
Yeah.
But I have a pretty high degree of confidence in the agent to do this kind of task now, which is pretty cool. So let's see. So it seems like it's adding this.
Show
I want to
avatar
understand
test.
how it's integrating this test harness for a second. So the test harness has a predefined list of test names. I actually think I want to be able to just enter one via form, to be
Yep.
honest. So I may change that, but let's see where we're at with this before I do that. Okay, this looks like maybe there's a bug here, or we will see. I'm going to let it do this for a second, but that looked suspicious to me.
Yeah, that would look like a strange extra close if block. Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it can fix it. So I'll do this. One thing as we're going here,
this log of changes is on your right as well. That's your history log you were talking about. Is that right?
so this is on the left is a log. So yeah, there is a bug there. I'm not surprised. So let me go ahead and hit Control C. The agent will then look at that output and it'll see the syntax error, which I kind of saw, and it'll fix it. So on the right, think of this as like the same view that you would get if you pushed this up to GitHub and went into the PR review. So this is not a log of, like, on the left, it's a log of changes. On the right, it's what is changed relative to a branch or what's uncommitted. So this is a code. This is
summarized by those are chunks that the AI did. That's very useful. So it's almost like a pending AI change log.
It's exactly what it is. And so this is how I like to work. So let's see. You're connecting to game server.
Oh, avatar test is at the top.
I'm gonna click this. Holy cow!
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It really built it. Okay. So, and it built, oh my God. So
wow, look at the varieties.
This is so incredible.
Wow, that was cool.
So this is a way better thing than I would have built if I had built this. So
this is actually just way more fanciful.
So if we want to make these, how do I use this? So let's say I want to put in Zach here for a second. Oh, amazing. Okay.
Oh, that is
so I can go in here and do this. This is just showing me a preview. I want to put in Andrew.
That's fun.
Come on, this is so cool, right?
That is cool. It understood so cleanly and clearly what you wanted, and was able to give you like a testing space for it, which I think was really powerful of it. Instead of just being like, maybe some people would be tempted to just like, oh, I'll add this and then deploy it, or just like run it localhost and just try a bunch of usernames. Like, since there's no cost in creating this test page as part of using it, as part of like the cognitive load of creating the feature, it becomes like a freebie.
Yeah. So I think this would have been a pain in the ass for me to make if I was developing this by hand, but it just happens. So I actually think it would be cool if this still showed the letter somehow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Rather than just a design. So I want to try and do something where I iterate on that for a second. So I'm going to say, let's make a commit. It looks pretty good. And then we'll keep going. So one thing I do recommend is like if committing when you get to good spots here.
Yeah.
And so keep going. A couple other things just to call out for people who use Warp and want to manage their context and managing, like, I noticed some questions about billing and like token usage and that type of stuff. We're working to add more things that let you sort of see what context usage is. And there's a whole slew of these things coming down the road to make it better. But you can see now, so we've used about 25% of our context window. If we were to use the full thing, it would trigger a summary. If I was changing topics here, I would suggest just starting a new conversation. So by going up here and doing, Command Shift N on this. But I think for now, it makes sense to keep this context because we're going to keep iterating on it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a screenshot of this for a second to provide some more context. I'm going to be like, the avatars look pretty good, but I'd like to still have the first letter of the username show within the avatar. It should show with a color that has good contrast compared to whatever the avatar design is. Could you please tell me how you would make that change? See the attached screenshot for reference. For instance, in this case, it should have an A.
Nice.
So we'll do that.
You're providing the screenshot's great. Like you're QAing it, and you're like, I can see something that it can't. Let me show it.
So it's telling me how it would do it. Let's see this. So it's smart. So it's going to do something where it figures out.
It's gonna get a contrasting color. That's part of it.
Yeah, and it looks like the two options here, if I really wanted to understand this, are either like
Black,
some sort of white variant or some sort of black variant.
Yeah.
With like various opacity. Or it could go more complicated, more sophisticated. I think let's go with the simpler automatic contrast approach. Make the change for me, please.
And for the folks in the comment, yeah, he is using the voice to text option. He's not looking like it. Zach is not typing anything.
I'm not typing anything. You don't want to.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't make this whole thing when I created it. I didn't type anything either. I talked to the computer the entire time.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and actually hit the fast forward button here and let it just do this. I trust it's going to be able to make this change, especially since I saw a preview of it. I can also see as it goes over here in a nicer view of what it's done. So this makes sense. Grabs the first letter, and you can see the changes coming in here. It's so cool. You can see the function it added, and it's telling me it's going to use a variant of white or dark. The CSS changes, avatar letter, CSS style. So I'm going to go ahead. I like to use this code review in a kind of wider view. It just makes it easier. So now I can see this. And just to show one thing that I think is interesting and cool to call out in Warp, if I wanted to, I could also just be like, I could be like, reference this diff here. I could be like, can you make the threshold actually slightly lower for showing dark or whatever? This is just illustrative of how if I was actually, the way that I approach this is like, it's like I'm code reviewing what an agent has written. Mm-hmm. And so I get the ability in here to just say like, okay, make this change for me. So I just changed this slightly, just as like now it goes to 50. I also, by the way, could have just gone in here directly and edited that. I just wanted to show that off for a second.
Yeah.
Rerun the server. Oops. See, I got my voice wrong there, but it should.
It'll get it.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Avatar test. There it is. What do you think?
Nice.
That's okay.
It was pretty readable. Well, the player one on the double stripe there, that black on that purple. That's
like this.
Tough. Yeah, some of those are, but the brighter ones for sure, you can read them real easy.
It just doesn't seem like I
feel like we were supposed
to
see white and black, right? So we should maybe figure out why they're all that color.
Okay, we'll go back here for a second, and I'm going to cancel out of this, and I'm going to say, I'm not seeing any of the light variants. Maybe the thresholds need some tweaking, because I think in some cases it would look better with a light variant. Could you explain the logic of whether it's a light or dark variant to me in more detail, please? So again, attaching the screenshot. Okay. Let's see. So it's based only, so it found a bug here, or at least it's claiming to have. Not just the base color. So
what are we learning from its analysis here?
Let's like read it a little bit more closely. So it's saying contrast is based only on the background's base lightness value. So that's the logic in generate avatar. So this is the current logic. So since lightness ranges from 50 to 70, we always get dark text because every value So this is, I screwed it up, is basically what it's telling me when I asked it to make that other change, I think. So let's see here. So what are the options? Yep. So these Fiona, Kevin, and Nina. Let's look at those for a second. Where is Fiona? Yeah, I buy that should be light. Kevin should be light. More sophisticated calculation. A luminance.
I like that title. More sophisticated calculation.
So it's saying let's try option. Okay. Sure.
It's going to amp up the randomness to kind of get it and bump it out into those ranges that it needs to be in.
Yeah, I think by making this 50, I screwed it up, by the way. I probably had it right first.
That's all right. It messed up earlier, so your instincts to jump in.
Okay, so here we go. And then while it's running, I'm going to just say, can you rerun it once you've made the change? So I should be able to. Oh, we're fixing this. That's annoying.
One thing I loved about testing this and building this in Warp is that Warp was very good at managing the server instance and then actually killing it when it was done instead of abandoning it into some background process or clogging up my ports with a whole bunch of abandoned thing. It actually did a great job cleaning up after itself while testing, and it made it go a lot faster than when I've used other tools. So that was a cool thing.
So I don't love this result. Like this one's really hard to read because it's not counting for the kind of inner value here.
Look at the 1, 2, 3.
Some of these are,
but now we're seeing black and we're seeing
this one's
white.
Good. At least it's doing both, but I'm not loving the result. Yeah. You want to do one more iteration on this, or do you want to move on to actually integrate? Let's move on to integrating these.
Let's try to integrate it.
All right. So if I go back to the game, I'm a little worried it broke this loading screen, right?
Yeah. Is there a console error? Let's see. Maybe if it's trying to grab a different, that could be on my end. It could be trying to hard code hit an instance. Anything in the console?
Yeah.
All right. It's trying to connect to your local host port 1999. What's your backend server on, I guess?
I don't know. Let's just have it debug this. So again, it does kind of make you lazy. So I'm going to be like, the avatars look mostly okay. I'm now seeing black and white, but I'm now seeing socket connection errors when I load the main app. Here is a console log of what's going on as well as what I see in the app. Could you help me debug it? So I want to also grab this so it knows. And then, well, I guess let's start with that. And I probably should have committed this, by the way. So what I'll do is I'll be like, can you quickly commit my open changes with a good commit message? Okay. Let's see this. Okay, it fixed it for me already. Let's see what it did. It wasn't running the back end. Okay, cool.
Oh, that'll do it.
Simple. And so over here, we're committing. So now I have a couple agents going. All right. And then should we go in here and see if I can get an avatar with a name?
Oh, yeah, do that. So you're on your local host.
So I don't have it yet. So that makes sense.
It has not popped it in.
So next thing to do is go over here. I will quit this. I'll put on agent notifications. Sure. Oh, I'd have to change something in my settings. I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. As the next step, can we integrate the new avatar generation into the main app so that we get the cool colored avatars in wherever an avatar is currently being used? So this made a commit. I now have a fresh section over here for open changes. And we will put this to work. So it's updating my task list, which is like a running list of things that it has to do. It says it's found the 2 places that it has to make the change.
Perfect.
And I can kind of see these changes live, like stream in over here, which is fun. There we go.
Oh, are you on your other screen?
Can you not see me?
I can see warp, but I can't see your.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I meant.
Oh yeah, I thought you were
the,
saying
the diffs
gotcha.
come in here. Which
Oh
is
yeah, no,
pretty
the diffs are hitting it. It's changing it in those like 2 spots where they're currently at.
Yeah. So we're first doing the lobby screen, which makes sense. And it's putting this in, and then we're doing the leaderboard, which also I assume is the other place where we have the avatar.
Yeah.
It's going to remove the dev toggle, which I was going to also ask it to do. It's pretty cool.
It's cleaning up after itself.
Yeah. Let's see where we're at overall.
Near the end there.
Yep.
Looks like removing the dev toggle is last thing on its checklist. It spun up.
Yep, it's on the last step, I think, here. So almost ready.
Very cool. Having watched it just build the avatar generator system that you created, now I'm thinking like it'd be cool in the future to write tests for that, to get like very standardized generations, or to make sure that color contrasting doesn't degrade as you try to maybe up the ante. I loved the idea from George in the chat about having a colored solid background on the letters for the ones with the complex backgrounds. I think that there's some iteration there that could be explored, and it's kind of fun to see where it started. So there it is. Yeah. Look at that.
Okay, cool. So now
so cool.
I think this is cool. I think, what if I try to like deploy this, and so try and do something that's not coding in Warp, but try to get to a deployment stage? Is that going to be possible, or do you need to be the deployer? You tell me.
Well, if we want it to go to that URL I have deployed, I could be the deployer, but full disclosure, literally all I did was ask Warp, hey, please deploy this on Cloudflare, and then it presented me with a login for Cloudflare pages. So it was like 2 clicks.
Should I roll the dice and try and do that?
You could see if you could deploy it yourself.
Okay, let's just try it. So first, please make another commit for me with the latest changes. And then while this is going, I'll multitask here. I'll say, I want to figure out how to deploy this game to Cloudflare. Can you describe what the steps are for that? I may not count. I'm worried that that's going to be the issue here, but let's see.
I think all I did was log in with my Cloudflare on my Google identity. Cloudflare is, it's pretty simple and free to deploy to. And then PartyKit's actually owned by Cloudflare. So I figured I'm using their server for the backend. I'll go to their platform to host it.
Okay, so this looks pretty easy.
Yeah, it was pretty simple.
So do I need to deploy both of these is one question, or do I just need to deploy the front?
There might be a deploy script, actually. You should check to see if my agent left just a road map for that, because I'm pretty sure there's a hard-coded deploy npm command.
Yeah, there's a, let's see.
And there's none of my credentials are in this repo. It's going to use your own CLI, your own logins to push it to wherever.
Got it. Okay, so let's see this for a second. So yes, there are already deploy scripts. So let's, yeah, I don't know. Let's roll the dice here.
Let's see what it does.
I'll say, you can run the deployment for me. This is an annoying issue where we're getting a quoting problem here. Oh, so here it goes.
All right, you're going to log in with your GitHub to deploy the backend. These are all the steps I did. So far, you're on the same exact deployment route that I was on. That's a great sign. That's going to close, and then I think it's going to do Cloudflare next.
Okay. So over here, it's attempting to log in.
Yeah, it's
Close this
deploying it now.
page. This is so cool.
Yeah, it's cooking. Okay, great. Now it's building your front end, and it's going to push it to Cloud for Pages. This is the same flow that I went through still.
I mean, we're living in a crazy time where it's this
really
cool and easy to build an app.
I built this and deployed it in just an afternoon. In fact, Warp built a lot of it while I was eating lunch. Okay. And now you need to go back to your terminal and give it a name. This becomes the URL, I believe.
Okay, so this will be different than yours.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's do code with Zach and Andrew, something like that.
Yeah.
Production branch. What should I do for this?
You're on that feature player avatar generator branch. So yeah, you should use that because that has everything you just added.
Okay, so we'll do this. So I'm on a different branch, actually. I'm on player avatar generator. Okay. I think it should be main. We'll have to fix this for a second. Or
I think it deployed the player avatar generator branch that you're on. So that,
let me ask.
Let's see. It looks like you have a URL there in your game URL. Maybe that goes to what you deployed.
Yeah, let's see. Is it not? Is there some delay here?
Maybe. Yours has a whole bunch of numbers in front of it.
So it sees what I did.
Yeah, let's see.
Means your deploy game includes any. Okay. Now this is fine. Let's try this one more time.
I wonder why it's not.
Oh, it was going so smoothly.
I don't know. What about that back end? When you go to that, does it show a not found for the server? It should. Yeah, that one's found. Okay, so that's the back end server is deployed on that is what it serves if you try to hit it in a browser. Not sure what's going on with your front end there, but you also have like this almost like a hash number. You have like a commit number as a. I think there's something going. Maybe you should try merging it.
Okay, or if I take out the hash for a second, that did it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was strange. Okay, so it did deploy it. So this is your. Let me go to it.
There we go. We have people already in here.
Okay, amazing.
With avatars.
I gotta jump in and see. What is it again? It's code -with -Zach -and -Andrew.
Yep.
Okay, great.
And I see you in there.
Yeah, there I am.
The host. And should we play?
I think so. Let's see. And then maybe once we play, the leaderboard should maintain all the avatars, because wasn't that the other file that it changed?
I think so. That's the other place we made this change. So we have these cool avatars here. Let's see how it is when we go.
I say we just drop the link in the chat. Maybe give people a second to join. We got 8 people here, and then we'll press start. And the emoji racks are all still working. So that went pretty smoothly. Just asking it to deploy it. Yeah,
one little hiccup with the.
Okay, we got 10 people in here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit start. And it's going to kick it off. And look, there's the leaderboard, and the leaderboard has the avatars still, so they're showing up as we expect them, and they're pretty readable. I really like the drop shadow that it put on the letters. It's a nice feature.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I got it.
You added a new feature to my quiz app. That's pretty cool.
The adoption.
So yeah, this is the quiz game that I built. So going back to the whole purpose of why did I come in here with a quiz game, it's because was running this internal enablement session for us at Linear B, and as part of that, I wanted to give a quiz on how we approach measuring AI within like your engineering workflows. And so I used Warp to create it. You know, I just figured it'd be more fun to whip something up in an afternoon than go like to Quizlet and just use something off the shelf. So this is like just an example of a personal project, almost like disposable software, but it's quite actually modular. I'm kind of interested to keep hacking with it.
I'll make you a PR for this.
Amazing.
And if you want,
great, you're
so
now a contributor.
The actual changes here. And yeah, I think this is a good time to maybe, I'm going to stop doing my demo. Maybe we can take a few questions and then we can wrap up. All right, let me stop. Cool. Do we have is anyone from Warp joining, or should I just, I can kind of read some of these questions. Let's see. If there are questions, please ask them. Seems like questions around Warp Ignore. It's like a technical question. Any questions about just like generally building with agents or building with Warp? If not, we can kind of like wrap up. We are also going to give out a promo code, I believe, which we can put in here pretty soon.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a challenge that I had kind of before I even came into using this was not just using the agent by myself to build something. Like I have that process down pretty fairly. The hardest part I find is actually sharing and collaborating with my agentic work with other coworkers and with other people who want to work on projects with me. Like this was a great flow, how we were able to toss the same project back and forth and use that to kind of build an established context. Do you have any strategies for folks trying to replicate that success with like the tools that are available?
We were just having a huge internal discussion about this question yesterday. We want to add the ability to have shared project context. And by project, I mean not repo and not global, because we have those right now. So you can add sort of like global rules and you can add like a warp MD file. I think what's missing is the ability for, I want to add or make some big change to a project. How do I like document that and then share it with other people who might be working on it with me? We're either going to do a file-based version of that where there's some project specific concept, or potentially using Warp Drive is actually it's an awesome use case for Warp Drive for this kind of thing, because you get this like, more or less real-time collaboration on a shared project doc that not only do you and whatever person you're working with have access to, the agent also has access to. And so I think that's actually like a great solution. And we're gonna try to make that like easier and more obvious for people to do.
Like a first class feature.
Yeah, like a first class
platform. Yeah.
There's a question from Steven around getting agents to use latest version of docs. So Warp has the ability to ingest web pages. I think that's probably the simplest thing. It's just grab a URL to the docs and say, please read these docs as you're making this change. I think that's a cool cool workaround. What else? I see someone wanting to get hired. That's cool. We're hiring. Please apply. Sub agents is a great question. We don't currently support this. We're building the infrastructure support for it right now. I would love for people who are requesting sub agents to hear what their main use cases are, because we want to support those use cases. And I do think, by the way, as we're building out features, we are trying to do it in a way that's compatible with other tools out there. So like Cloud Code, like we support Cloud.md and Agents.md and cursor rules and stuff. So I think it's very likely that if we support sub agents, we would really make an effort to do it in a compatible way. But please, if you could share, like, what are you using sub agents for and why? Like I know some people, like, are you using it because you want a separate system prompt for something? Are you using it because you want to control a separate context window? Are you automating things? And so I'd love to hear more about that. So another one, from Atul says, hey, Zach, you dive a bit deeper into the summarization of a long-running task. For long-running agentic tasks, how do we keep the agent to stick to an architecture document or PRD? So this goes back to what I was talking about before. We're going to try to build better first-class support for this use case. Because right now, I do think we have the problem. I don't know if anyone from the Warp engineering team is here right now, where your initial rules or initial project plan could get summarized away, which is definitely not what you want. Warp, the way that to make it work best right now is to make sure that Warp comes up with an accurate task list based on your initial project plan, because we don't summarize the task list away. That's a separate thing that stays out of the summarization. But again, I'm not sure if anyone from our engineering team is in here, but that's a great question. Let's see. Andrew, any questions from you? I'm just reading kind of audience questions here. They're awesome.
I love the sub-agent deep dive. Personally, when I've used sub-agents, I use it for context management, for splitting up, creating like a system. I think kind of what Steven drops here in the comments about like an MOE, within a workflow. So having like a top level commander almost of like what I'm building and what the vision is, and that agent's sole job is to not only steer the direction, but to keep its context window empty so that it doesn't expire. And its job is to spawn the agents that then do all of the one-off tasks that it comes up with. So that's a structure I've had some luck with, but you do have to have really strong alignment on what you're building.
Yeah. Cool. And I see people definitely want the same compatibility with Claude. That makes a ton of sense. I see a cool question here about someone asked, it was about giving a presentation on Claude Code and Warp. What would I highlight from Warp? So Claude Code is similar, obviously similar interaction paradigm. I think where Warp really has an interesting advantage and is very different is in some of these tools where we let you iterate on the code that the agent is producing and see what it's producing. So I'd love for you to show off the diff view that I was showing and the ability to reference sections of code from the diff view. Because in Claude Code, you typically will have to either switch out of Warp to GitHub to do that, or to your IDE to do that. And we're really trying to make this very agent first tight feedback loop a big part of what you're doing. It matters more and more, I would say, as you work on more and more complex code bases and more on production code. It's in these code with Zax, I tend to do stuff that's a little bit closer to vibe coding, and it's it's low stakes and I trust the agent. But I find that when I'm working within Warp's code base with an agent, I really want to look very closely and understand what the agent's doing and be able to tweak the code. So that's a great feature to highlight. These are awesome. These are awesome questions.
These are great questions. Yeah, coming.
I see a question around how do we stay competitive? It's a great question. So our view here is we're really trying to build the most usable product and the best developer experience around building with agents. I think Warp's position in this market is pretty unique in that most of our competitors are either a fork of VS Code or they are a CLI based text only terminal app. And so by virtue of us having spent a lot of time really trying to build this great user experience around working in the command line, I think we can build and offer these types of features that really make working with that are kind of from first principles. How should it work if you want to build with agents? And so we also have some advantages, I think, in that we can do different models for different things, whereas all of these model providers basically are trying to it's a one model fits all solution. So I don't know. It's hard. It's a very competitive space for sure, but I think we have I'm biased, but the most compelling user experience for working with agents right now. And I think that that's worth a lot. Let's see. We're going to wrap up pretty soon. Will Warp ever release their own sweep, build our own model? we're not working on that now. It's a pretty big, expensive
Yeah,
undertaking.
that's a pretty big task to tackle.
It's possible. It's a big undertaking. It's interesting for me to see, just looking at these comments, how much demand there is for sub agents. I would love for folks in here, while I have this audience, to list out, if you could, what are the main things that you want to see us improve, or missing features, anything like that, so that we can just keep making the product better for everyone. Like, I think that's how we build like a really good company here. And also, I just saw a promo code get posted. So
yes, sure to grab that.
But yeah, would love. So spec-driven development. I'm curious, are people using Kiro, and like, do they like that flow? Because we're looking on this at this. Build out, improve the editor. I'm seeing, put guardrails. So I'd love to understand, Gabrielle, what the kind of guardrails. This is like a good chance for me to get a little bit of live feedback. Okay, this is super awesome. Thank you all for like the words of encouragement here. It is really nice to hear people loving the product.
Yeah, I echo them. You know, as here on the stream with you, it's a really cool product. Yeah. I love using
it. So
this
idea of like contextual aware diff viewer is definitely something that we're leaning into. So not just like, here's a raw view of your diffs, but like, what are they doing, I think is great. Sub agents to protect main context windows, a pretty big deal. Pager commands, some free models. Cool. This is awesome feedback. Well, I am going to wrap up. Again, I really appreciate people taking time out of their day to come watch this. I hope we're trying to make these educational and like interesting for folks. So again, if you have feedback on how to make the next one of these even better, I'm going to keep doing them. But again, really, really like appreciate this. And Andrew, thank you so much for joining. I thought this was a really cool session. And again, it's so cool how smoothly these go now compared to how they went when I first started doing them.
So smooth. You added a feature to something you'd never seen before, and you deployed it, and then the chat connected to it, like we played it together.
Yeah,
all in this hour.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have an awesome day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.